Hi guys, so it's been a little while since I uploaded a video just because, you know, I'm just like a crap YouTuber. But yeah, I hope everyone had a nice new year. Mine started off alright. Like Christmas I got sick, so that wasn't good. New Year's I was still a little sick, but then after that it went okay. But today I just want to do like a different type of video for all of you subscribers, all 20 or 21 of you out there that watch maybe. I've been doing mostly just like vlog type videos just to like get used to like recording, stuff like that. But today I want to do more of like a sit down video. I'll try not to ramble because I have notes. So hopefully I'll keep it on track. But today I just wanted to make a video about art inspirations and art influences. Like, I feel like every artist has things that made them who they are today or made them the type of artist they are. So basically today I just want to talk about my personal art inspiration growing up and the type of art that I like and why my art looks like the way it is today and how I still want to evolve the way I do art and stuff like that. So basically growing up, all the art that I really liked doing mostly was based off of cartoons that I watched. Like that was like the first thing that like sparked joy. A lot of kids I think grow up with like watching Disney, so I watched a lot of Disney movies, so probably like the princess ones, so Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Little Mermaid, stuff like that. It's kind of like when I was younger. And then as I like grew older, I kind of liked other Disney stuff like Treasure Planet, Atlantis, Lilo and Stitch, Tarzan, like that kind of stuff was the stuff I like. So it evolved from more like princess type stuff to just more just like fun adventure, kind of just like a little more grown up type fantasy, I guess, for Disney. And of course like Pixar and stuff too, but I really was into more of like the 2D animation, like just like traditional animation, just like I just liked a lot. Also shows, so when I was younger I'd watch a lot of like Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls and Samurai Jack, stuff like that. So I remember I had a book that was like how to draw in that style. I forgot like that what that style was called, like kind of retro, but like I think the person who created Powerpuff Girls and all those like cartoons of that style, I forgot his name, but I was really into that kind of style. And I don't know, Powerpuff Girls is such a good show. Like you would like, looking back on it, I'm just like, nothing compares to Powerpuff Girls. Like you think like, oh, it's just a girly show. No, it's a very violent, very violent but funny. Another movie I really liked also when I was younger was Secret of Nimh. That animation style is like, it's different. It had a different feel from Disney films. One, because it's not from Disney, but also it just was like a bit darker. It was a bit more serious. I feel like when I was younger, I kind of got into that kind of like it. I feel like some people think Secret of Nimh is weird or like scary. At least that's what I've heard from some people. They didn't really like it too much, but I don't know. I personally thought it was cool. For those of you who never watched Secret of Nimh, it's basically it's like, I think it's based off a book, but I've never read it. But it's just about like mice and rats and like, and there's like fantasy in it. It's like drama and there's like,
don't listen, she's hysterical.
It's just like a really cool, overall like really cool film. So if you haven't watched it, I recommend Secret of Nimh. So another influence I feel like a lot of people probably are influenced by are like anime. I didn't watch a ton of anime. I only watched what was on like television. So for me, I loved Sailor Moon. I think a ton of people love Sailor Moon. It's not anything unique. A lot of people love Sailor Moon. Just I remember I used to like draw them all the time, and I would like try to draw like the eyes like all sparkly and stuff like that. So like Sailor Moon was like one of like my number one top shows I like to watch. Another one I like to watch those card captors. I love card captors. I just love like all the different outfits she would change into, and like it's just so cute. But yeah, and then I guess this ties in to anime, but not really because it's technically not. But Avatar: The Last Airbender, that was my jam. Like I loved, the thing is I watched it later, like I didn't watch it when it aired, I watched it like after it was all done, like online somewhere. But I love the animation, like I love the way the characters were like styled. I love like the whole style of it. I really liked. So Avatar: The Last Airbender was definitely a big influence in how I liked to create my characters. It just was like, that show is just so good. Nothing will compare to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Every episode, even the filler episodes are so good. And there was sadness, there was like comedy. It was like, to me, Avatar: The Last Airbender is like my perfect show. Like everything that I love in a cartoon was in it. I love that show. Okay, another not unique influence is Studio Ghibli films. So I feel like I kind of didn't put this in the category of anime, even technically it is, but it's more just so because I feel like Studio Ghibli in itself is a very unique type of genre. It's not a genre, like it has its own very unique voice to it. Specifically, my favorite Ghibli films are the one that Miyazaki directed. So I think one of my favorites is probably Kiki's Delivery Service and Castle in the Sky. Like I love all of them, but those two are like, I just always go back to them. I always really want to watch them. Also, Whisper of the Heart. It's kind of like, it's not as well known as his other movies, but it's definitely like, it's like a gem. It's like a little gem. But yeah, Whisper of the Heart is so good. And then when I'm in the mood, I do like Mononoke. It's just more of a different feeling. It's not like it's a little, not depressing, but it's a little more of like a melancholy overall type of feel to it. But usually my go-to is like Kiki. Yeah, Kiki's Delivery Service, it just always hits a part in my heart and makes me like inspired every time I watch it. So definitely Ghibli movies when I was growing up, those are like, I love those movies. And now I'm gonna also talk about growing up, like just live action movies that I really like too, that that I think had a lot of elements in it that were very artistically stimulating, if that makes sense. Yeah, so one of them is Blade Runner. I remember when I was younger, my dad kind of put it on and we would watch it sometimes, it's just one of those movies where it's just like everything is so beautiful, like in like a gritty way, you know? It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like the cinematography of it, just all the, just visually, like the light, I don't know, everything about it, like I just thought it was so creative. And I think because there's probably an artist involved in the movie, I have to remember his name, I'll like pop it up, but he probably was a big influence in the way the movie looked and like how it was like set up and everything like that. But it's just a good movie visually. Also, Return to Oz, it's basically the second movie. I mean, like everyone knows Wizard of Oz, but then there's another movie that came out, totally like different like company that made it. It's not like related, it's like way later. But Return to Oz, basically, I think it's the second book of Wizard of Oz, but I think it had mixed reviews. People said it was like too scary for kids and all that type of stuff, which I kind of get. But when I watched it, I thought it was so cool. Like it was a little creepy, but it was so cool. So I recommend Return to Oz. Also, all the Lord of the Rings movies. When I was younger, I was really into like elves and fairies and fantasy and stuff like that. And Lord of the Rings just like hit all those spots. Like it just had cool stuff, like just fantasy stuff was stuff I was into. Also Dark Crystal, like it doesn't have any live like people acting in it, it's puppetry. So Dark Crystal is like a really cool movie. It just has, again, like kind of like elf-like creatures in it and like a lot of like adventure fantasy themes, like just that kind of stuff was like, that was my jam. And also another one, Fifth Element. Fifth Element is kind of like sci-fi fantasy type stuff, but just visually just like beautiful and so creative, and I just loved it. Another influence of mine was just like nature shows, just nature in general. Like I would watch on channel 13, they had a series called like Nature, so like every week, or I don't know how often they had it on, but it's just kind of like they had a nature special on. So maybe one would be like about elephants, or one would be about like I don't know, polar, I don't know, it could be, one episode could be about like bugs, like you never know what it is. It's just like they have random, they just like focus on different things. But yeah, I love watching nature. I still do. I don't really draw animals that much, but I'm very inspired by like wildlife, just how it's so like diverse and like so colorful, and it's like you just learn something every time you watch it. So I think because I really liked animals, I loved going to the zoo, I loved going to the aquarium. I do remember one time like I went to the Central Park Zoo with my dad, and I was in the penguin area, and I was just like sketching the penguins. When I think back on it, I'm like, wow, that person is gone. Not gone, but I don't really do that as much. I want to like do that more often, but when I think back, I'm just surprised I was actually trying to sketch from life from penguins. You know those penguins, if you've ever been to the zoo, they don't stop moving. They move around all the time. So I'm surprised I tried. I feel like another inspiration, well, another source of like kind of art inspiration that I would look back on, or that I would look at for inspiration would definitely be like some books, like art books. I didn't really own any art books. My dad just had a bunch. So I remember my dad, he had this book called Fairies. It's, maybe I'll like insert like a cutaway to the book because I have it, but that book just has a lot of illustrations on different fairies. Like I said, I was just really into like fairies and fantasy and that kind of, like specifically fairies. I had like a fairy phase. You know, people have like a horse phase. I had a fairy phase. Yeah, I love fairies. And also the book had a lot of like creepy things. It wasn't just fairies. Like it was called Fairies, but they had like other creatures in it. Also, a book I really loved was Peter Pan. Reading that, the book that I did have, it also had illustrations in it. I don't remember the artist, but if I find the book, I'll put it up. But Peter Pan was just one of those books which is like also fantasy, so it had like fairies in it, had mermaids, it had just like adventure themes. It was like kids just doing whatever. So Peter Pan was one of my, like I really like that book. Like I don't, like, it's a classic, I guess. And I was not a fan of the cartoon. I remember when I was younger watching Peter Pan, I just thought it was weird, and I was like, no. But the book is like really good. It's like, it makes more, it's like, it has, I don't know, it has like that raw like feeling. Sorry, that's not what I meant to say. I don't know, the book just has so much character to it, so that's why Peter Pan was like one of the books I like really liked. All like the media I consumed was very fantasy, like everything was rooted in fantasy or sci-fi or something, mostly fantasy. But that's kind of like what I gravitated towards a lot when I was younger. Also, I didn't read a lot of comic books, but my dad had some, so I'd kind of like go through it, like, and not like superhero comic books, I don't know, like that kind of stuff. But I do have this one comic book that I have, I think it's called like Princess something Princess, I don't know, but it's like this comic book that, like, again, was like a fantasy thing. But yeah, I like reading like fantasy stories and stuff like that. What I talked about before is more like when I was younger, growing up, kind of like elementary school to middle school type age, kind of just consuming things, not really thinking much about like what I want to do too much. Just kind of like what I just like, think when you're younger, you're just like, you know what you like, and you kind of mimic things. So I'm gonna talk about when I was just getting more into art, like taking it a little more seriously. This is more in high school, because in high school I went to LaGuardia High School, which is an art high school in New York City. I just figured out that's all that I wanted to do. Like I didn't like officially make the decision that I wanted to do art, but it's kind of like, you know, when you've been doing something for so long and you just like, because you've done it for so long, it's what you do the best. So I just thought like, well, I'll just continue doing it because I like it, and I think it's the only thing I'm really good at. Like I did okay in school, but art was like my thing. I'm unique. No. I remember when I was trying to get, like, when I was getting more serious about art, I really loved the artist Brahm. I think he is still like my #1 artist. I feel like I want to do like separate videos on just like specific artists that I like devote a video to it. But Brahm, he has, I'll like insert like images of it too, but he has a lot of dark fantasy paintings. I think some people know him also from doing Magic the Gathering cards. I never played Magic, so I don't know him for that, but I just know him from like the books that my dad had. And he does a lot of he does mostly oil paintings. Like he renders it in kind of like a traditional way, but the themes that are in it are very dark, kind of gothic, I guess. He just like paints really well. I just love all his paintings, and I just love like how they're dark but like beautiful. And I met him at New York Comic Con, New York City Comic Con one year. I forget which year it was, but I'll insert a picture that my friend took of me and him. But I was like fangirling. I was like so happy because he's like my number one artist. Like just the way, like it's not like I want to paint like that exactly. It's just like I just appreciate it so much. I just feel like he's just such an inspiration. Like I never get tired of looking at his art. I think his art book was the one I like probably looked at the most like throughout like growing up and stuff. I still do now, but I just like love his stuff. So Brahm definitely was a big like influence. Another artist that I really liked actually was Mobius. He just has really I'll put pictures, but he has really just like, he does a lot of line work. I just feel like his style is very unique. He just can, I feel like I don't even want to say why, like try to describe it, because I'm just gonna put the images up and then you'll just like get it. So I'm not gonna go on about him, but I just really liked his work. Another artist that I just went back to every time just for inspiration and stuff like that. And yeah, and also I'm gonna talk about this. So high school is when I started making art and uploading it to DeviantArt. So I feel like nowadays most people, they don't really keep up with DeviantArt. They're kind of like DeviantArt still exists, but it's not like a thing anymore, which is kind of sad, because DeviantArt was there like I think before Tumblr was a thing, and then now Tumblr is kind of dead sorta, but like DeviantArt was the place before like Tumblr. So DeviantArt was a place where a lot of artists just uploaded art, and I just thought it was like so cool. Of course DeviantArt has some weird things on there, like some, like, you know, everyone makes fun of DeviantArt now because like they thought it's full of like crap art, but like for me, I followed really awesome artists where I feel like DeviantArt is where I discovered a lot of artists and made me like open my eyes to just like artists doing things now, people that are my age, people who are close to my age. It's just like it just like opened doors to like so many artists that I didn't know about before, and just like I love DeviantArt. It also is what got me into digital art. I'll kind of go more into that, but I'm just gonna list some of like the big artists that I discovered through DeviantArt. So I feel like a lot of people discovered her here, but I don't know how to pronounce it. I think she goes by Loish, but I think her name is Lois, so I don't know if it's Lois H or Loish, but she's a digital artist. Like I feel like a lot of people like her stuff. She's a very popular artist, but I discovered her on DeviantArt. Another one that I loved was Gen Z. I think it's she, Gen Z. I didn't look up her like real name, but that's how that was her name on DeviantArt. Her stuff, I was like, oh, I wish like if I could switch styles with anyone, I would, like at that time I wanted to switch styles with her, like just be that. Like I thought, like I just loved her stuff so much. I think all these people that I'm gonna list are digital artists. So yeah. Another one that I discovered was I think he, or I still don't know if it's he or she, I don't know, but their name is Sachin Tang. I think this person is a very popular artist. Like, you've probably seen this person's stuff, like probably. But like I discovered this person on DeviantArt, and it's just like not much to say. I love it. Also, an artist that's now really popular on YouTube is Ross Tran, or he goes by Ross Draws. That's where I first discovered him on DeviantArt. So that was like years ago, and I actually did meet him. Funny enough, like I thought, like I was at Comic-Con, and then I think he mentioned that he was gonna be there, but I didn't know if he was tabling or not. But then I met him and he was really nice, and I gave him like some art because I brought it with me just in case I saw him. So I gave him my Nimh fan art. I didn't really take a scan of it or upload it anyway. I just gave it to him. But yeah, he was really nice. I discovered him. And also Kevin Wada. He doesn't do digital stuff. I mean, he usually doesn't. He does, I think, watercolor. But I loved his stuff. It's like so like graphic, and he does like fashion interpretations of like superheroes, and like he does everything. He's really cool. And also I think when I was like later on, when I was like getting more into like trying to find what I really want to, like how I want to render my work digitally, I found this artist on DeviantArt. He goes by Zedig or Zedig. I don't know his real name. It might be a she too. I don't know. I saw their stuff. Oh my god. I like had a like I just was awake and I was like, oh my god, I love this so much. Like this was the person I really wanted to like paint like. I was like, oh my god, that's my goal, to like paint like that. It was like I didn't want to like copy obviously, but I just was so in love with it. I was like, this is so beautiful and cute, and like the colors and like everything, I loved it. DeviantArt is where I got started like finding like so many different artists that just to add to my my encyclopedia, my reservoir, my whatever, you know, influence box of stuff. Okay. Yeah, so I feel like DeviantArt is kind of what geared me towards really wanting to do more digital art. Now we get into college. So I went to an art college also. I went for illustration at FIT. So I feel like when you go to art school in college, at least for me, for illustration, they teach you more about like art history. Like you're required, at least for me, we were required to take more art history classes. So I learned more about like specifically a lot of illustrators. We learned kind of like about the golden age of illustration. So I just have a short list of like some artists that I learned about, and also just artists that I really liked. So there's like Leindecker or Landecker, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but yeah, Leindecker, Howard Pyle, Charles Gibson, Maxwell Parrish, N.C. Wyeth, Beatrix Potter, Arthur Rackham, Norman Rockwell, Dean Cornwell, Frank Frazetta, Alphonse Mucha, Tom Lovell. Like there's like so many more, but that's just like the list that I put, like a short list of like stuff that I mostly remember. But just like learning about those kind of artists, I think like especially if you see it in person, is you just have such an appreciation for like illustrators like before our time. Yeah, just art history in general is just like a good thing to learn in school. What am I saying? I don't know. If you watched it till this far, that's awesome, because I would listen to me. So it's kind of like it kind of went hand in hand. So when I was in high school, I was just learning about like digital art and like trying to do that. But then in college, it's kind of like I was learning both. So I had like the art history side of it, where I was learning about like all these old painters, but then hand in hand, I was learning about like digital art and digital painting. So I had both traditional classes and digital classes. For me, I really like that because I like both. Some people kind of geared towards one. I'm doing digital now, but I still love like painting like traditionally. I could do a whole video just on like traditional versus digital art, but yeah, I need to stick to my list. College really made me really want to do digital art because I was learning both, but I just fell in love with like digital art, especially when we had the Cintiqs and stuff like that. So because I was more into digital art, I was like seriously like looking into a lot more artists. So I started getting into like more kind of like concept art and visual development artists, like specifically animated movies, like the art that went into it. So like I discovered artists like Corey Loftus, Ryan Lang, Ming, is it Ming her name? Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. Ming Chen, Chaos Adera, and I think if you guys ever watched I forgot what's that movie called. It's like the pig who lives in the little windmill. Is that what it is? Oh, I forgot what it's called. but there's like a pig and a fox in it. It's so cute. The creators of the movie, like the main guys are Robert Kondo and Tutsumi. Yeah, so them, I really like their stuff. It's like very like painterly, very just like kind of almost not impressionist, but kind of, it's just like very like, let me shut up, I don't know what I'm saying. And also relating to like the Disney movies, like I discovered like concept art for like Tarzan and Emperor's New Groove, and Paul Felix did a lot of like pencil drawings. His stuff, if you don't know, you need to look. Like I feel like he's pretty well known. I don't know if he's, I feel like a lot of people probably seen his stuff. Also a more like recent movie, Moana. I was looking at like Moana concept art, and I saw like these like drawings of Moana that I thought were so beautiful, and I found out her name was Annette Marnat. So she is more of like the more like recent side of like the kind of stuff that I was looking at in college, like kind of towards the end. I just loved it so much. I just loved the character that she put in her drawings. I just loved the way she rendered things, her shapes, like it was just like top notch. All these artists that I am describing are kind of artists that I was looking at because I thought that's kind of what I wanted to go into. I thought I wanted to go into visual development, and a lot of it was digital, and all those artists were like my top artists that I really like looking at. But I also was into kind of like book publication, so kind of like children's books slash like kind of like middle schooler type age books. Like I just loved like the illustrations. Like when I go to the bookstore, I just find like I would just look up books that I was into like art wise, and like look up the artists and see like kind of like what they do. And I was really interested in that for like in conjunction with like the concept art sites type stuff. So I discovered like Adam Rex, Scott Gustafson. I'm like butchering everyone's name, but I actually discovered him on Instagram. Oh my god, his stuff is like, his colors top notch. This artist is someone that I remember when I was younger, is Tony Diterlizzi. Tony Diterlizzi. But he did the art, like the Spiderwick Chronicles. Like there's a book, I'll like insert it in. But there's this book where he illustrated, and I just really loved all the illustrations of it. And he does like other book illustrations too. Like I think that's one of the main things he does. I don't know. Honest, I feel bad because I'm listing all these artists, but I don't really know a lot about them. I just know I like their work and stuff like that. Also, William Joyce, his stuff is just like, it kind of gives me a nostalgic feeling because I used to watch George Shrinks, and William Joyce was the artist behind that. Like it was his original story and stuff like that, so he illustrated and it became an animated show. So his stuff is really good. It has a very unique look to it. It's very him. Like no, I haven't seen anyone else with like exactly his style. He also was behind Meet the Robinsons. Which whoa, I can't talk. He was also behind Meet the Robinsons, which was a book that he illustrated, and it was his like story, but it also became an animated movie, which is a very, I have to say, very underrated movie. If you haven't watched Meet the Robinsons, you need to watch it because it's just such a good movie. What am I saying? Okay, so just to put it in a little package, in college I was really into digital art, specifically for concept art and visual development for like animated movies, but also kind of like not young adult, but like children slash like young grade school or like older grade school demographic for like books. And then I also was into like, I feel like during college I was just like open to like so many different types of artists and from all different kinds of fields. And then I just honed in on these people, like specific ones that I listed already. But I also was into artists that were more in the fine art realm. These artists that I have listed, they're I don't know if they only do fine arts or if they used to do more commercial type work or worked for a studio and then started doing this. I'm not sure. I only know them for their like more fine art type stuff. But people like, I don't know her real name again, but she goes by Soy Milky. She has a lot of like oil paintings. There's also Peter Chan, Miles Johnston, Edwin Ushiro, Andrew Hem, Keita Morimoto, Benjamin Borkland, I think you pronounce it, and Tran Nguyen. I think Tran Nguyen, she does also just regular, like, I think she can be classified as an illustrator too, but I know she also has been has had her work up in gallery. There's like a whole bunch more that I follow, but I remember these people specifically, I just really loved their work. I just loved how they could do, like, not all of them, but some of them, we did like more like large scale oil paintings that are just like full of color. I just like really gravitated towards like a lot of, because I feel like fine art has a different type of feeling to it. It's like kind of like they're just exploring like more strange things. It's very personal to them, I feel. So I just wanted to make this video just to like to show how much goes into art and how you express yourself. So I just wanted to make this video also just to make my channel a little more personal, just so that you guys get more of a sense of like what I like and why I am into the things I'm into, or like the way I draw. But I just wanted to say that I feel like it's important to open up your mind to a lot of different types of art, a lot of different artists, different ways at approaching it. And also I want to say that you can find inspiration for your art from anywhere. It doesn't have to be anything that's even related to art. You could just look at, like, you could just be walking down the street and like see someone wearing something really cool, or see just a person that inspires you. You could walk, like, I don't know, you could just be at home and like look at your dog and be like, oh, I don't know, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, inspiration can come from anywhere. I just thought this would be like a fun video just to kind of give you guys an insight into my mind. Yeah, I just wanted to show that a person's art is never really just them. It's a combination of all the things they love. And I hope that me listing like all these artists gives you an idea of where I like to find my, I guess, artistic drive. And I feel like everyone's voice is unique because of how many things are kind of involved in it. So I feel like whenever I feel like if you really want to improve your art, that's one thing that really helps, is just discovering like more and more artists, and not just more artists, but more different types. I just love discovering like new artists that I really like. And yeah, so hope you guys like this video. I want to be more consistent with videos. It's just really hard sometimes when I'm not sure what to film, stuff like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you come back. Give me all the hate, give me all of that. I want it. I want it all. But yeah, that's it for today, and hopefully I'll come back with a new video soon. Okay, bye.